Alright everyone, I'm back and bringing this war moment to a close. I just want to take a little while just to talk to you guys. I'm just going to express how I really feel about this topic. I'm not going to be reading any scriptures. I'm not going to be, preaching anything like these preachers do all the time. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to let you know how I feel about this. And how I feel right now, I feel like I've been lied to. I feel like my ancestors and ancestors and ancestors before them has been lied to. And it's like, why did I waste all these years being a Christian? Why did I waste these years serving in the church and serving our Savior who's not even real, serving this pagan Savior who doesn't even exist? That's the way I feel right now. And for some of you who are watching this and you feel me and you kind of have that sense of that Yeshua is actually black and you still go to church, maybe you might want to rethink what your goals are in life and where you're going. Because right now, if you're planning on being in the kingdom, you can't roll with these lies. You can't continue going to church. You can't keep continuing being a Catholic. You can't keep continuing being a Christian, because it's all lies, it's all deceit, and it's all paganism. And of course, the father of lies is Satan. We all know that. So Satan's just kicking back and just laughing at this because he's had so many people fooled for centuries. And it's really sad because black people, my black people, I love my black people. But we're at a time where no one's marching for God, no one's speaking truth. You got people rioting for these slain people who are dying in these gun violence and stuff, but no one's marching for the Lord. No one's speaking truth. No one's opposing these churches. No one's going up against these churches because no one doesn't have the strength to speak up for themselves. No one has the strength to make the stand for the Lord. But I'm going to make a stand. I'm going to call him by his real name, Yeshua, and I'm going to recognize him as a black Messiah, because that's who I see in my vision, and that's how he is. So, like I said, the Vatican has changed everything in the Bible. It basically just stripped all of our history of the black Messiah, and they put white people on a pedestal, these Edomites, might I say, on a pedestal, to whereas they're the superior race, but they're not, because black people, we shall prevail. But it's very sad because only a little bit of us will, because too many of us are just ignorant. Too many of us don't like to read. Too many of us don't like to do any research. Too many of us are just sleeping on this situation because no one is looking into stuff on their own. They're just being fed the lies. That's basically what's happening. So what I'm going to say, people, as I bring this video to close, is just to look into things before you follow stuff. Do some research on stuff. If I didn't do any research on church and Christianity and that whole stuff years ago, I probably wouldn't even be following these lies. But you got some people who are just accustomed. They're just so settled into their own religious beliefs, to whereas they can't take no for an answer. They can't take truth. They can't take what's in front of their faces. Even when you show them and when you try to break it down to them, they still sit back and deny it, to the point where they're not going to accept Yeshua as the black Messiah. For me, even when I was in the Christian church, I always felt that Yeshua was a black man. Even when it comes to a point where you're in a setting, you can't speak up for yourself. You can't really express your opinion, because when you do, because you're around these closed-minded Christians, you can't really do any of that, because when you try to do that, it's like they try to shut you down. That's why in church there's no everything's just basically backwards over there, because they teach part truth and part lies. But how are you gonna preach something and you can't even really back up what's behind there? Like, it's like, how do I say this? You're preaching me lies, and you're making me live a lie, and you're also living a lie as well. That's the crazy part. And seeing these depictions of our Savior as a white man has really got me upset, because I'm just tired of seeing it. I'm just tired of seeing a white man playing as Yeshua in these movies and in these television series. Like this upcoming television series about AD, the Bible continues. Yeah, the lies continue. That's what they need to call it, because it's all just a bunch of bullshit story. And then the characters they have playing as God's followers, they're all white people. That's the sad part, people. And, you know, there's a whole lot I can say about this particular subject, but it's like, I can talk some blue in the face to some of you people, and you still won't believe it, and you're still going to deny it. But that's fine. You know, that's perfectly fine. You can continue to follow lies. You can continue to worship this falsified image of Jesus if you want to. But when it comes down to the martial law kicking in, and the New World Order starting to kick in, and all these sacrifices and all these murders start happening in your churches, you can't cry out to your white Jesus, because he doesn't exist. And trust me, Yahweh, he's not of the church. I don't know why people think that Yahweh and Yeshua is of the church. It's a man-made structure. It's all man-made, and these preachers really think that they're really anointed. They really think that they are God's children, God's chosen people, when they're really not. When you're following teachers of man, and it's not of the Lord, it's basically a worldly situation. I mean, anybody can go to a school and learn scriptures and to speak stories upon them, but if it's not really what you're called to do, then what's the purpose of it? Like I said, you know, the church isn't of God. It's of doctrines, false doctrines of man. So black people, you know, they're not going to rise above this. They're still going to be in this small setting. It's only going to be a handful of people that Yeshua is going to select when he returns, because everyone's just going to get left behind. So, like I said, you want to keep going to church and you want to keep praying to this false white Jesus, tell me what you're going to say when he finally returns and you see that he isn't a white man and he's actually a black man. What are you going to do then? The Lord's going to say, depart from me, for I never knew you. That's what he's going to say. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, again, to my black people, it's time that we rise above. It's time that we start doing our research. It's time that we start learning our history, because we are God's chosen people. There's no other race that's superior but us. But right now, the Edomites are a superior race. Is because we let them prevail, and we let them overcome us, because we weren't living for the Lord, really. We were ignorant. We were selfish. We still are, actually. And it's really sad, because God is just angry with his people, because none of them is living truth. Everyone wants to live the way they want to live. Everyone wants to believe these preachers and these pastors and these false doctrines of religion, and they still want to go to these man-made churches. And God's just angry with that. Yahweh is just very, very upset. And when Revelation starts and the Antichrist comes and reveals himself, that's basically going to be your demise. And it's going to be very destructive. But you people are just making your own graves, because when you want to stay dumb, when you don't want to, basically, black people, the way I look at it, they don't want to go higher in life. They don't want to go higher in God. They want to, keep running to church because they don't know how to go higher in God. You need to seek God for yourself. You need to build that one-on-one relationship with the Lord. That's what you need to do, because trust me, those preachers, they don't have one-on-one relationship with the Lord. They don't. They do not at all. Because if they did, they wouldn't be in church and they wouldn't be preaching you guys these lies. They would tell you that following Christmas is wrong. That Yeshua, his real name is Yeshua. His name is not Jesus. His real name is Yeshua, and then he's a black man. That's what they would be teaching you and stuff. But they work for the government. That's what they do. They work for the government to teach lies, to keep people dumbfounded. It's to keep people locked into the system. And it's going to come to a point where, like I said, when martial law kicks in the New World Order, when it's time to receive that mark of the beast, 666, when the Antichrist returns, you people are going to be lost. Because it's going to be too late for y'all. Y'all didn't do Yeshua's will. You didn't do Yahweh's will for your life. And you kept running to church. You kept raising to this false white Jesus. And you kept following the lies. And Yahweh is not going to reach out to you people. He's only going to reach out to his followers. He's only going to reach out to the truth seekers. That's what's going to happen. And I feel so bad because, even some of my family members who I try to preach the word to, they still want to run to their Catholic churches and their Christian churches and stuff, and they don't want to believe me what I'm saying, and they think I'm crazy. No, I'm not crazy. You are. Because you're not trying to build that one-on-one relationship with Yahweh or Yeshua. So you're basically just going down a destructive path which reaches a dead end people. So it's time for black people to rise above. It's time for Yeshua's chosen people to rise into the kingdom. And it's time for the lies to just stop. It's time for the lies. It's time for truth, people. That's what it is. That's what it's time for. It's time for truth. It's time for the truth of Yahweh. It's time for the truth of Yeshua. It's time for a new beginning. Get out of this system. Get out of all these worldly teachings and doctrines of man, because it's all a lie and it's all wicked stuff. And until we do that, people, until we make a stand for the true black Messiah, Yeshua, then what do we stand upon? Like I said, people want to march for Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin. They want to, watch and start riots for them. What's the point of doing that when you don't even have the real black Jesus, Yeshua, on your side? You should be marching for him, not because someone got killed. And that's all I gotta say, people. This is David. This has been another WOW moment. Hopefully my message reaches out to you people. May Yahweh and Yeshua be with you guys as we are on the last days. And continue to rise above, people. Thank you.